Welcome to the History AI podcast, where the past comes alive with facts, anecdotes, and a dash of humor. Here are your hosts, Chuck and Marco.
Welcome to the History AI podcast. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Marco. Today, we're diving into one of the most significant battles in history, the Battle of Teutoburg Forest.
The battle where the Romans got a little lost in the woods, right, Marco?
You could say that, Chuck. They did more than just lose their way, they lost legions. It happened in 9 AD, in what is now Germany.
The battle that stopped Rome in its tracks and defined the boundaries of the Roman Empire and the Germanic tribes for centuries. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, remember folks, if you love delving into the past as much as we do, hit that subscribe button, share with your friends, and drop us a 5-star review. It really helps us out. Today, we're setting our time machine to the tumultuous 1st century AD, an era where the Roman Empire was at its zenith, its reach sprawling across continents, from the sun-kissed sands of North Africa to the mist-covered hills of Britannia.
That's right, Chuck. But despite its vast dominion, there was one thorn in Rome's side, a land so wild and unruly, not even the mighty legions could tame it, Germania. This vast, mysterious region lay beyond the Rhine, covered in dense forests and marshlands, a stark contrast to the orderly cities and towns of the Roman provinces.
And it's here, in this untamed wilderness, that our story unfolds. The man at the center of our tale is Publius Quinctilius Varus, a Roman general and administrator with a distinguished pedigree. Varus was tasked with the monumental job of transforming this wild land into a Roman province. However, his experience, primarily in administrative roles, might not have fully prepared him for the challenges of pacifying the fiercely independent Germanic tribes.
Enter our other key player, Arminius. Unlike Varus, Arminius was born into the very world Rome sought to subdue. A chieftain of the Cherusei tribe, he was taken to Rome as a youth, where he received a military education and even gained Roman citizenship. But Arminius's heart belonged to Germania. Seeing the encroachment of Rome as a threat to his homeland's freedom, he decided to turn his insider knowledge against his former mentors.
So, we have the stage set. On one side, the Roman Empire, eager to expand its borders and spread its culture. On the other, a coalition of Germanic tribes, united under Arminius's leadership, fighting for their land's independence. The contrasting backgrounds of Varus and Arminius highlight the clash not just of armies, but of cultures, ideologies, and visions for the future of Germania.
And what a clash it would be! The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was not just a confrontation of military might, but a confrontation of destiny. Rome, with its disciplined legions, vast resources, and seasoned leadership, versus the Germanic tribes, with their deep knowledge of the land, guerrilla tactics, and a unifying desire for freedom.
It's a tale of intrigue, betrayal, and heroism that would ultimately shape the course of European history.
As we navigate closer to the heart of our story, it's crucial to understand the intricate web of ambitions, politics, and personal ties that set the stage for this epic confrontation. The Roman Empire, under Emperor Augustus, was in an era of unprecedented expansion and consolidation. The boundaries of Rome stretched further than ever, but Augustus and his advisors knew the importance of securing the empire's frontiers. Germania, a land rich in resources and fiercely independent, was the next target on Rome's checklist.
Varus, appointed governor of the newly conquered province, was handed the monumental task of integrating Germania into the Roman fold. This meant not just military occupation but the introduction of Roman law, culture, and taxation. To the Romans, this was civilization; to the Germanic tribes, it was subjugation.
Meanwhile, Arminius, having served in the Roman army and achieved the status of an auxiliary commander, returned to his homeland with a unique perspective. He had seen the might of Rome but also understood its weaknesses. More importantly, Arminius had witnessed the benefits and detriments of Roman rule firsthand. While he had been away, the seeds of discontent had been sown among his people as Roman demands became increasingly burdensome.
The genius of Arminius lay in his ability to bridge the disparate Germanic tribes, who were traditionally more inclined to infighting than unity. Through diplomacy, marriages, and perhaps a shared sense of urgency, Arminius formed a coalition of tribes that had previously been unthinkable. This unity was the first of its kind in Germanic history and marked a significant shift in the balance of power in the region.
Varus, on the other hand, remained largely oblivious to the brewing storm. His confidence in the superiority of the Roman military and administrative system blinded him to the growing resistance. Reports of unrest reached his ears, but he dismissed them as isolated incidents, failing to see the strategic orchestration by Arminius, who was playing a dangerous double game, serving as an advisor to Varus while secretly uniting his people against Roman rule.
The stage was set for a dramatic showdown. Varus, eager to quash what he believed to be minor rebellions, planned a military march across the Teutoburg Forest, a route that would prove to be his undoing. Arminius, with his intimate knowledge of Roman tactics and the terrain, saw an opportunity to strike a decisive blow against the invaders.
It's a poignant reminder of the old adage, know your enemy. In this case, Varus underestimated his, while Arminius leveraged his unique insights to unite and mobilize an underdog force against one of the mightiest empires the world had ever seen.
As the Roman legions prepared to march into the dense, shadowy forest, none could have predicted the scale of the catastrophe that awaited them. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was not just a military engagement, it was the culmination of years of cultural clash, strategic planning, and the indomitable will of a people fighting for their freedom. Now, let's delve into the heart of the storm, the Battle of Teutoburg Forest itself, a confrontation that would etch its name into the annals of history with blood and iron. This wasn't just a battle, it was a meticulously planned ambush that would leverage every advantage the Germanic tribes had.
Indeed, Chuck. The genius of Arminius' strategy lay in his choice of battlefield, the Teutoburg Forest. This dense, rugged terrain was the antithesis of the open battlefields where Roman legions excelled. The narrow paths, thick underbrush, and poor visibility nullified the Romans' formations and discipline, turning their strengths into weaknesses.
As Varus's legions, laden with supplies and non-combatants, made their way through the forest, Arminius struck the first blow without a sword being drawn, through treachery. He had convinced Varus to take this particular route under the guise of suppressing a local uprising, leading them into the trap.
The ambush began with a series of hit-and-run attacks. Germanic warriors, familiar with the terrain, used guerrilla tactics to harass the Romans, attacking the column's flanks and disappearing before the legionaries could form up and respond effectively. These skirmishes were not meant to inflict massive casualties, but to chip away at the Romans' morale and stretch their formation thin.
And then, as the weather turned against them, with heavy rains and storms adding to their misery, the Roman column became mired in mud, their movement slowed to a crawl. It was at this moment, with the Romans scattered and disorganized, that Arminius launched the main attack.
The Germanic tribes, emerging from the forest in a fierce onslaught, overwhelmed the Roman flanks. The legionaries struggled to form defensive formations amidst the chaos, their heavy armor and equipment proving to be more of a hindrance in the dense forest and slippery terrain.
Varus, realizing too late the extent of the betrayal and the trap he had walked into, attempted to rally his forces. However, the morale among the Romans was plummeting, and the cohesive command structure necessary for their sophisticated battlefield tactics had disintegrated under the relentless Germanic assault.
The climax of the battle saw a desperate attempt by the remaining Roman forces to break out of the encirclement. But weighed down by their casualties, hampered by the terrain, and demoralized by the effective use of guerrilla tactics, their efforts were futile. Varus, faced with the total annihilation of his legions, chose to take his own life rather than fall into the hands of the enemy.
The Battle of Teutoburg Forest ended with a catastrophic defeat for Rome. The meticulously executed ambush by Arminius not only decimated 3 Roman legions but also marked the beginning of the end for Rome's ambitions in Germania.
This battle demonstrated the effectiveness of guerrilla warfare against a conventionally superior force, emphasizing the importance of terrain, local knowledge, and psychological warfare. Arminius's victory was not just a military triumph, but a symbol of resistance that would inspire generations long after the battle had ended.
A chilling reminder of the old saying, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Rome, in its hubris, underestimated the resolve and ingenuity of the Germanic tribes. And in the Teutoburg Forest, they paid the price in full.
As we reflect on this monumental event, let's remember the lessons it teaches us about leadership, strategy, and the indomitable spirit of those fighting for their homeland. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest is a testament to the fact that underestimating one's opponent can lead to disastrous outcomes, no matter the size or strength of one's army. The echoes of the Battle of Teutoburg Forest reverberated far beyond the blood-soaked soils of Germania, sending shockwaves through the very heart of the Roman Empire. The defeat was not just a military disaster, it was a psychological blow to Rome's invincibility, a blemish on the empire's prestigious image that had been carefully curated over centuries.
Absolutely, Marco. In the immediate aftermath, the news of the disaster reached Rome like a cold wind from the north. Emperor Augustus, upon hearing of the annihilation of 3 of his legions, was stricken with grief and disbelief. Legend has it that he would wander the halls of his palace, striking his head against the walls, and lamenting, "Quintilius Varus, give me back my legions."
This loss precipitated a major shift in Roman policy towards Germania. The dream of expanding the empire's borders to the Elbe River was abandoned. Rome fortified the Rhine frontier, marking it as the de facto boundary between the Roman world and the Germanic tribes. The Roman military also underwent significant reforms, with an increased emphasis on defensive strategies and fortifications.
Meanwhile, in Germania, Arminius emerged as a hero, the architect of one of the most significant military victories against Rome. His success in uniting the disparate Germanic tribes and defeating the Romans elevated his status to that of a legend. However, this unity was short-lived. The absence of a common enemy led to infighting among the Germanic tribes, and Arminius himself would eventually fall victim to the very tribal politics he had once mastered.
The ramifications of the Battle of Teutoburg Forest extended beyond the immediate military and political landscape. It served as a defining moment in the cultural and national identity of the Germanic people. For centuries to come, Arminius, or Hermann as he would later be known in German folklore, was celebrated as a symbol of German unity and resistance against foreign conquerors.
On the Roman side, the battle served as a cautionary tale about overextension and the dangers of underestimating one's enemies. It forced a reconsideration of the empire's expansionist policies and highlighted the importance of understanding and respecting the cultures and territories of those they sought to dominate.
The archaeological discoveries made in the 20th century have given us tangible evidence of the battle's brutality and scale, further emphasizing its impact. Weapons, armor, and personal belongings unearthed from the boggy soil of the Teutoburg Forest provide a haunting glimpse into the final moments of those who fought and died in this pivotal clash.
The aftermath of the Battle of Teutoburg Forest was a turning point for both Rome and the Germanic tribes. It reshaped the political and cultural landscapes of Europe, laying the groundwork for the eventual decline of Roman influence in the region and the rise of Germanic kingdoms. The legacy of this battle, and the lessons it imparts about leadership, unity, and the complexities of imperial ambition, continue to resonate through history.
Moreover, the battle had significant implications for Roman society and politics. It exposed the limits of Roman expansion and the dangers of overextension. The financial and human costs of the battle and the subsequent military reforms led to increased taxation and levies, which in turn caused unrest and dissatisfaction among the Roman populace.
Culturally, the impact was just as profound. The myth of Rome as the invincible ruler of the known world was challenged, leading to a period of introspection and re-evaluation of Roman values and objectives. The narratives around the battle, especially the betrayal by Arminius, a former ally and Roman commander, added a layer of betrayal and caution in Rome's dealings with foreign leaders and peoples.
In the long term, the battle influenced the way Rome engaged with its territories. Rather than seeking to expand its borders through conquest, Rome began to focus more on diplomatic relationships, client states, and fostering stability within its existing borders. This shift had a lasting effect on the structure of the Roman Empire, leading to a period known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace, characterized by relative stability, economic prosperity, and cultural flourishing.
The legacy of the Battle of Teutoburg Forest also extended to the formation of European borders and cultural identities. By halting Roman expansion into Germania, it indirectly contributed to the development of a distinct Germanic cultural identity separate from the Romanized world. This division would shape the cultural and political landscape of Europe for millennia.
As we reflect on this monumental event, it's clear that the Battle of Teutoburg Forest was more than just a clash of arms, it was a catalyst for change in the Roman Empire. It challenged Rome to adapt, to rethink its ambitions, and to evolve. The lessons learned from this defeat would help forge a more resilient and pragmatic Rome, one that would endure for centuries to come.
A poignant reminder of how history's great defeats can lead to profound transformations. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest stands as a testament to the fact that from the ashes of catastrophe can arise new strategies, philosophies, and paths forward.
As we reflect on these events, let's not forget the human cost of such conflicts. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was a tragedy of immense proportions, a reminder of the price paid in lives whenever ambitions clash and empires seek to expand.
As we close the chapter on today's riveting journey through history, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on the History AI podcast. Your thirst for knowledge and passion for the past makes this all possible.
Absolutely, Chuck. And if today's exploration into the depths of history has ignited a spark in you, we have a small favor to ask. Take a moment to rate and share this podcast. Your ratings help us reach more history enthusiasts like you, and sharing helps weave this rich tapestry of our past into the lives of others.
Remember, every episode of the History AI podcast is evergreen, meticulously crafted to stand the test of time. Whether you're delving into the ancient world, exploring the medieval era, or unraveling the complexities of modern history, each episode is designed to be relevant, engaging, and informative, no matter when you listen.
So, if you've enjoyed our journey today through the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, or any other episode, please rate us, share with friends, family, and fellow history buffs, and let us know what you think. Your feedback and engagement are what keep this journey through time alive and vibrant.
And don't forget, we're always eager to hear from you. If there's a historical event, era, or figure you're curious about, drop us a line on social media. Your questions and suggestions might just shape our next episode.
Before we part ways, a quick reminder, our history-themed merchandise is available, perfect for showing off your love for history and supporting the podcast. Find the link in the show notes. And as a thank you to our listeners, we're offering a 10% discount on your first purchase. Just use the code TheHistoryAI all one word, at checkout.
So, until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring the endless stories that history has to offer. This has been the History AI podcast with Chuck and Marco. Thank you for listening, and remember, a simple rate and share can help our community grow and thrive. Farewell, and we'll see you in the next chapter of history. Looking for the perfect way to show appreciation for the incredible mom in your life? Discover Exhausted Moms, a coloring journey to relaxation and humor, the coloring book that speaks directly to the heart of motherhood. Gift her an escape into pages of laughter, empowerment, and moments of tranquility. With Exhausted Moms, she'll find a blend of whimsical illustrations and inspiring quotes that celebrate her daily triumphs and challenges. Crafted with love from images I created for the mother of my children, each page offers a space for creativity and relaxation, a reminder that she's doing an amazing job, even on the toughest days. Give the gift of laughter, peace, and recognition. Exhausted Moms isn't just a coloring book, it's a hug, a nod of understanding, and a token of appreciation for everything she does. Surprise her with Exhausted Moms today and watch her face light up with joy. Because every mom deserves a moment to herself, wrapped in the colors of love and support.